In Minecraft, there are 16 colored dyes: white, light gray, gray, black, brown, red, orange, yellow, lime, green, cyan, light blue, blue, purple, magenta, and pink. In this video covers everything about dyes, how to get them, and what you can do with them, and Pixel Tomato. Let's dive in. Most dyes are crafted directly from plants found in the world. Light blue dye comes from the blue orchid, which generates in swamp biomes. Brown dye is made from cocoa beans found on jungle trees. White dye comes from bone meal or from lily of the valley found in forests. Light gray dye can be made from 3 different flowers: azure broid, oxide daisy, or white tulip, all found in plain flower patches. Red dye comes from poppy, red tulip, beetroot, or rosebush. Lime dye is made by smelting sea pickles found in warm ocean coral reefs. Melt the body of a cactus and you get green dye. But the cactus flower, the bloom on top, crafts into pink dye instead. Pink petals dropped by cherry trees, pink tulip, and peonies also make pink dyes. The Pale Garden biome introduces the eye blossom. It closes during the day and opens at night. Closed eye blossom crafts into green dye. Open eye blossom crafts into orange dye. Their places hint at it. Orange tulip also make orange dyes. Torchflower makes orange dye too. Both the torchflower and peach plant share the same unusual origin. More on that in a moment. Cyan dye is crafted from the peach plant. Blue dye comes from lapis lazuli mined underground or from cornflower. Magenta dye is made from lilac or allium. Yellow dye is one of the easiest to find. Dandelion, golden dandelion, sunflower, or wildflowers all work. Wildflower grows in birch forests, old growth birch forests, and meadows. Finally, black dye comes from wheat rolls or ink sacs dropped by squids. By the way, among all the flowers and plants we've mentioned above, some of the 2-block tall ones give you 2 dyes per craft. In Bedrock edition, insects, cocoa beans, bone meal, and lapis lazuli can be used directly for dyeing without crafting them into dyes first. Java edition doesn't allow this. For the rest of this video, we will show everything has been crafted into dye. So about those 2 plants, the torchflower and the peach plant, yes, they exist, but getting them takes some work. Find suspicious sand or gravel in ocean ruins in warm oceans. Brush them with the brush, and you may get a sniffer egg. Hatch it on land, wait for it to grow up, and it'll sniff out picture pods and torchflower seeds for you. Plant the seeds and wait for them to grow. Honestly though, destroying those beautiful hardened flowers just for dye feels wrong, so there's a much easier way. You can mix the dyes together to make new colors. There's one color that can only be made by mixing, purple. It cannot be crafted from any plant. Red plus blue equals purple, just like in real life. Cyan can also be mixed from blue plus green, so you don't need to destroy your picture plant for cyan dye. All mixing recipes in Minecraft are shown on screen. The Wandering Trader sells dyes, 3 of any random dye for 1 emerald. That's a village chest sometimes contain green dye, which makes sense given all the characters nearby. Plains village mason chests can drop yellow dye. In Trial Ruins, brush suspicious gravel for chance at light blue, blue, orange, or white dye. Now that we have our dyes, let's talk about what you can actually do with them. Irritated wolves and cats come with a red color by default. Swap it for any color you like by right-clicking with the dye. Right-click a sheep with the dye to change its wool color. All future woolly growths will match the color until you dye it again. Color and wool colors are passed down to offspring. Think back to the mixing recipes we mentioned earlier. If the 2 parent colors can be mixed into a new color, the baby gets the result. If they can't, the baby randomly gets one of the parent's colors. Wool, carpets, and beds can all be dyed. You can put different colored carpets on llamas, and they'll have different patterns. Bundles and Shulker boxes can be dyed. Heavy Ghast harnesses can be dyed in any of 16 colors. Just combine a harness with any dye in your crafting grid. Only leather armor, leather horse armor, and wolf armor can be dyed. On Java Edition, just combine the armor piece with the dyes in your crafting table. On Bedrock Edition, it works differently. You can't dye armor directly. Instead, add dye to water-filled cauldron to color the water first. Then use the armor on the cauldron to dye it. Each use consumes 1 level of water from the cauldron. Even though the cauldron water is colored, filling a glass bottle from it still gives a normal water bottle. The color doesn't carry over. And on Java Edition, cauldrons cannot hold dyed water at all. In both editions, you can use colorless water on cauldron to wash away the existing color of these items. Craft stained glass by combining glass blocks or glass panes with dye. Both work. You can dye the glass blocks first, and then craft them into pins, or craft the pin first and dye them out. You can also use stained glass to color beacon beans. Place stained glass blocks or pins anywhere above an activated beacon, and the bean takes on that color. Stack multiple colors and they blend together. Candles can be dyed. Add dye via the room to create or modify banner patterns. You can further combine banner and shield to create a unique shield. Craft colored concrete powder with dye for sand and for gravel. Concrete powder looks like dyed sand, and like sand, it cannot float in the air. It falls to the ground. When it touches water, it hardens into concrete. The 16 types of dye can be used to create 16 colors of concrete powder, which can then be turned into 16 colors of concrete. Mining clay drops clay balls. Clay balls can be crafted back into clay. Smelting clay gives a regular terracotta, which can be combined with dye to make stained terracotta. Smelting stained terracotta again gives glazed terracotta. Use dye to change the texture color on signs and hanging signs. Dye is used to craft firework stars, setting the explosion color. Mix multiple dyes for blended or fading color effects. Okay, that covers everything you can do with dyes. But before we wrap up, most items can be re-dyed as many times as you want, but there are some exceptions. Once colored, they are permanent. And for leather armor, wolf armor, and leather horse armor, it's a little different. When you dye them again, the new color doesn't stress overwrite. It blends with the existing color, so the more times you dye a piece of armor, the more complex the final color gets. They are the only dyeable items in the game that works this way. If you end up with more dyes than you need, shepherd villagers will buy them from you for emeralds. Their job side block is the room. Once leveled up, they will buy 12 dyes for 1 emerald. But each dye card is only available at a specific level. And each villager's triggers are randomly rolled on level up, so you may need a few shepherds before you get the card trade you want. At the end of the video, there are 3 card-related achievements. Tie-dye outfit. Use a cauldron to dye all 4 pieces of a leather armor. Rainbow collection. Get all 16 colors of wool. And one is a PlayStation exclusive. Change of streets. Dye your bed a different color. Follow me for more Minecraft guides and tips.